Yes, hi. I am calling this number because I saw it on a bathroom wall. Seeing if you're Brandi.
You're listening to Brandi is Going to Hell, Quickies edition. This episode has a new segment, which I hope to incorporate in my full production podcast, hopefully coming later this fall, called High Times. And it'll most likely be with my good friend Gooch from Gooch The Motion. He does it with me today. However, this particular episode is going to be a little longer than future ones. So this Quickies edition is actually a longy edition. This show is both an interview for a couple things that Gooch has cooking up on his side, and then we roll into some high times talk. My friend Gooch, I gotta have a heart-to-heart with you guys. So Gooch is really an inspirational being in my life. He got into a car accident when he was in high school, lost feeling pretty much from the neck down, taught himself how to play music again, and eventually got leukemia. He's on chemo medicine since then. You know, he's just had a whirlwind of things happen in his life, but he just perseveres and puts his head down and just keeps working hard in what he believes in, and it's just very inspiring. I do want to point out that I am not high in this intro, or else I wouldn't be able to have a normal conversation with you behind the microphone, as you'll be able to see once you listen to the High Time segment. But we have a lot of wonderful things to talk about, especially some things that Gooch has going on. This upcoming week, Gooch is heading to Americana Fest, where he will be performing with his band Gooch and The Motion on Jam in the Van, which is a very cool thing. So I'm super stoked for them about that endeavor. And in addition, they will be doing a live show Thursday, September 12th at Nashville Underground between 9 and 10 p.m. So if you're in town at Americana Fest, please go support. Gooch and his band put on an awesome show. It's mesmerizing to watch Gooch play slide guitar. He has a super low, sexy voice. He's a very great storyteller. He'll make you laugh, and I can guarantee it'll be a good time. Also, just to recap a couple things that Gooch and I talk about himself and some high time stuff, is that in addition to Americana Fest in 2020, Gooch is also going to be singing at Teddy Pendergrass's 70th Birthday Gala, which is fucking dope. So he explains how that all came about. In addition, when we get into more high times, we talk about the Post Malone Ozzy song, talk about going to concerts with our parents, how life is short, but it's really the longest thing that you could possibly experience, and flow state, because it is a thing. The reason why I'm doing this segment, High Times, is kind of to destigmatize marijuana in America and around the world. You know, Gooch, smoking and eating edibles is a part of his lifestyle. He is on chemo every single day. He's just in pain. And I know a lot of people that have that lifestyle because they have chronic illnesses and are dealing with other things. So it's a chance for me to get behind the mic with people who are doing things on a daily basis to help make the world a better place. And I know it seems kind of unprofessional, but, need this to survive. So it's kind of just a sit down, get to open up our minds a little bit. This segment is particularly long, like I said, because it's an interview and we go into high times. So moving forward, now that we got all the nitty gritty out of the way, we're going to pretty much just dive into more topical things and have deep conversations. So one more thing before we get into high times is I just kind of want to talk about how I met Gooch and what he's got going on right now. So when I was in college, I got to photograph my first concert/festival with my colleague Mike. He brought me to this now defunct music festival in Union County. That was actually really awesome. I got to photograph Spoon, Robert Randolph, Soul Asylum, the Zombies, lots of really cool fucking bands for my first, concert to photograph. Definitely was an amazing thing for me in my life. But so the connection there was that my friend Mike knew Gooch, because he played in this band called 61 North. They were from South Jersey, and I took photos of that band too, and I wound up becoming friends with Gooch online, but we never really, hadn't talked much. Can't really remember how we connected, but I wound up going to a couple of his shows when he performed in New York City. I think he mostly paid attention when I started podcasting very heavily back in the day, and he was a guest on my full production podcast when I did multiple segments and multiple interviews a show. So we go way back as far as that goes. And since 61 North, he started his own band called Gooch and The Motion. And, they have one album out now, which was produced by Joe the Butcher Nicolo. And he is also doing Gooch's recent record. If you don't know who Joe the Butcher Nicolo is, in 1989, he founded Rough House Records, got to work with Lauryn Hill, the Fugees, Cypress Hill, Criss Cross. And, he has just, started his own record label and is doing his own thing now and producing a lot of great rock bands out of the Philly area. So I'm so proud of Gooch and everything that he's accomplished so far, and think he's a very, very, very talented soul. So without further ado, here's Gooch. High Times on Brandi is Going to Hell.
Hello.
Hi, Gooch.
Hello, Brandi. It's good to hear from you. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, I call you on a weekly basis. What are you talking about?
I know. So what's going on this evening? Because I'm in the mood to smoke a little bit of this joint I've got and have a conversation with you. What's been up?
Well, I hit you up today to talk tonight, so I want to hear about you.
Oh, so you want to turn the tables on me?
Do.
You want me to tell stories?
I'm the boss in
Well,
this situation here. So Gooch and I are having a little high times with Gooch on Brandi is Going to Hell.
the idea is to have a little marijuana and have a little conversation. So
what did you do today?
So today, as I was telling you a little bit earlier, we had a rehearsal last night because we're getting ready to go to Nashville. My band, Gooch The Motion, for those of you who don't know, that's my band. You can just Google that or go check it out on Facebook or wherever you choose to listen to music. It's all over the place. But so yeah, we're getting ready to go to Nashville. As you know, Brandi, you've followed us and seen us play.
Yes,
I always love seeing you. I love seeing you like at those BB King shows. That was always like one of my favorite parts of playing up there. But yeah, so we're getting ready to go down to Nashville. My first time down in Nashville. So we were rehearsing Thursday, and actually at the end of rehearsal started writing a new song. And man, I got a new album coming out. I got all kinds of stuff, irons in the fire. And I think because of all that, it's like stirring up more inspiration inside of me. So I've got a lot of lyrics, and I've been writing a lot in my journal and just doing podcasts and probably just rambling on too much like I am right now.
No, it's all good.
I just want to
like
speak
your
to the
podcast,
people.
by the way. It's I listen to it, and you'll probably record a couple, and then I'll listen to like 5 in a row. You'll record a couple, I'll listen to like 5 in a row.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's interesting to hear you say that. I never heard anybody say.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, sometimes, it's just the internet. You just don't get served things like you do.
Right.
I'm probably on the internet so much for work. It's just probably drowned out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy that you've embraced these quickie episodes because I've really missed your podcast.
Oh,
and I'm a fan, and I think that I always say this, like, because I have some friends, and like recently, because I partner with Rowan on a lot of things through my foundation. And
so I'm going to pause for a second. Gooch and I are both from South Jersey, and Rowan is the Rowan University down there for all these New York folk up here that don't know what that might be.
Right. Yep. It's a university down here. Very cool little spot. So partnering with them, I was able to get into an internship program going where they would send people from their music industry class, like one student a semester, to be my intern and do internet stuff, social media, and all kinds of stuff like that. And the last 2 semesters, both interns were young females, and just like trying to find their way in the music industry and just through life in general and things like that. We would
You
talk about.
creep. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you stop. Yes, I am a creep,
No, I'm
and
just kidding.
but
I'm just being
no,
a pervert and mean.
these girls. No, because you know me and I am a creep. But like these two girls did become like my straight up like little sisters.
Oh,
And
yeah.
shout out to Boo Wop and Sarah, because they're awesome. And so, but what I'm getting to is your podcast, I feel like, can speak to young females like that because of what you've been through in the industry and what you've been through in
Aw.
life and just things like that. So I enjoy your podcast in general, but for that reason as well, I think it's important. So I'm glad you embrace these quickies.
Thanks, Gooch. It's very nice of you.
Yeah, it's
Feels really
awesome,
good to hear.
It's the people need to hear the testimonies, it's important.
Yeah. I mean, you've always been like one of my biggest fans, but I think we're
I am
both
your
each other's fans, which is really good. That's like how, people make it in the world and get discovered. And, it's a lot of, holding your people up and supporting them along the way.
Yeah, I was just actually having this conversation with my lawyer today, who's coming down to Nashville. She's going to be speaking on a panel because it's this big Americana Fest thing that's going on, which is like a big music conference and festival. So all these different bands are playing. We're going to be playing on Jam in the Van, which is going to be really cool. And I was talking to her, and we were just saying how, like when I started out in the industry of music, I always thought like, oh, if I meet Eric Clapton or whoever, if I meet Dave Matthews or something like that, that could open a big door for me. And what you start to realize is that's not what really opens doors. What opens doors is remembering the sound guy's name and remembering the waiters and the bartenders and like the ticket takers and the road crew and like the people that do all the behind the scenes stuff, because 9 times out of 10, they have more of a say in things, or just like using word of mouth, being like, those guys were really not only great musicians, but they were real easy to work with, load in, load out. They were very professional. And so like I try to take that aspect of life or of philosophy when like approaching some of these gigs.
No, yeah, absolutely. So
But
you're going to Nashville. Talk to me about that a little bit. So you're doing something in cahoots with Jam in the Van, but you're not playing in the van. So kind of let everybody know. Wait, you are going to be in the van.
I am going to play in the van. Yeah.
Oh, okay. When are you playing in the van then?
I'm going to have my bandmates carry me into the van and sit me down on a. Okay, so let me start from the beginning then.
All right.
So Jam in the Van, if you're not familiar, is a very cool like internet show with this RV, and they travel around the festivals and people go on and play music inside this RV, and they haven't made it into a studio, and it sounds spectacular. And they must have been doing it for like 7 or 8 years now. And they've gotten to the point where they're getting like really big acts on there, and they're doing this whole series down in Nashville during Americana Fest all week long at this bar, and they're set up with all these sponsors and tents and cool shit. And so I like just reached out to them on Facebook or on Instagram and commented on something, and we got to talking, and they said, send me your music. I sent it, and they said, hey, if you can make it to Nashville, come down. So we said, fuck it, let's go to Nashville. And then we booked another gig at the Nashville Underground on Thursday, September 12th. So for anybody out there who's listening, if you're in the Nashville area during Americana Fest, come check us out.
Thursday, September 12th, Americana Fest. Where are you going to be again?
The Nashville Underground.
There you go.
You can go to our website, GoochTheMotion.com, and all the details are there. But we'll be playing from 9 to 10. So it's going to be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Thirsty Thursdays during this big festival. I'm like excited and anxious and nervous.
Oh, it's going to be so fucking cool. I mean, I only went to Nashville for my first time this year and second time this year because I went for my birthday for a day or like a weekend, and then I went back to work a week out of the office that we have down there with work. So it was it was very eye-opening and different and cool because, I never got to travel growing up. But I've had a couple of instances to travel just because my boyfriend, that's his living, is traveling. But I haven't been able to really travel, my whole life. So I've traveled a lot more in the last 4 years of my life than I have for all 29 of them, So,
That's awesome.
yeah, so
think
going to
traveling is
Nashville
really
was,
important.
I think it is too. And I wish I did it more when I was, a little younger, but I think seeing it now is just a whole different perspective, It's not
Yeah,
my norm where it might be somebody else's norm. It's like a whole new discovery for me, so I'm probably more
yeah.
excited about traveling than people that have
It,
done
re-
it their whole lives,
it reminds me of this really great Black Crowes lyric in the song Wiser Time. He says, "You ask me why another road song. Funny, I guess you never left home." And I was just like, oh, that's so good,
Yeah.
because if you never really been anywhere, you just don't get it.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
like and that's what I like about music is it takes me different places, and now I'm gonna go down to Nashville, and I'm also going to be going to North Carolina to visit my uncle, so we're gonna scope some stuff down and hopefully start like planning out different.
Where does he live in North Carolina?
I forget. It's like a little town. It's kind of more. It's nothing. It's not anything recognizable,
Oh,
but
I got ya.
it's more. You know what I mean? It's not like Myrtle Beach or like Raleigh or like.
Okay. So are you gonna be like hunting bears and stuff? No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, it's actually really flat farmland. It's like
Oh,
close.
okay.
It's closer to Tennessee than it is to like the East Coast, like 4 hours away. So I'm looking forward to that. Going to go stay with my uncle for a little bit and hopefully get inspired. Have the acoustic guitar and we're gonna do some writing sessions. And
Nice.
I'm gonna go to a panel. I'm gonna go play at a church. Like I've got all this cool stuff lined up. And it's crazy. I give all the glory to God because I just put it out there. I actually wrote this girl a letter, this girl that I really like, and
Aw.
she, I'm just sweet on her. I just admire her, like I'm just an admirer of people. She's one that I admire. I wrote her a letter because people just don't write letters anymore. So I'm gonna write her a letter, and in the letter I wrote that I was gonna go to Nashville, and then in the fall, and I wrote this back in the spring. I wrote because we had talked about on the phone that maybe she would come down and hang out if we went to Nashville. I don't know why we're even thinking about it or talking about it, but I wrote it in the letter, like, hopefully I'll see you in Nashville in the fall. And then this just happened.
Oh.
And then just like the Teddy P thing I was telling you about, like just stuff just happens. It's crazy, the music industry. But it's like people like you. That's why I'm such a fan of you, though, because it doesn't go without people like you who I know you love your job and you tell me that you love your coworkers. I see you out bowling with them and stuff like that. So like you have a good environment, like so that's helpful. But you stay at that job because you love music, and that's what we wouldn't survive. Like the art wouldn't survive without people like you, and it's just great to.
Oh, that's such a nice thing to say.
Well, that's why like bands like who was it, Cage the Elephant or something like that. They like put you in their Instagram post.
Yeah, when they won the Grammys or something,
Yeah,
they did
yeah,
that video. They said everybody's name. Yeah.
Yeah, they gave you a shout out. Like that's fucking awesome. Like that made me respect those guys a lot that they did that because because
yeah,
like
you know what? It's
true,
really
like,
cool. Like you can just tell genuinely that our artists, I mean, I'm not really here to talk about Q Prime, but
no, but I'm just talking
but no,
about
yeah,
life
it's a
in
big
general,
part of my
like, just
life,
people.
and our bands that we work for are just all very genuine people, and just it's like a big family. It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I just it just in general, like I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like it's people like you and people who all connect those dots. Because I just I've been doing this shit for over 10 years, and it's getting harder and harder because like I just had to fill out all the fucking metadata for my new album launch. I sat there for like 2 days, had to sit there for like legit 3 or 4 hours, like just typing stuff up, typing up all the lyrics to the songs, typing up like what genre and who was the composer and publisher, and just like putting it in an Excel spread.
You're the one-man band of like all the inner workings, Yeah, it's you're doing a lot of work right now, so I get it. Yeah.
It's wild, but yeah, but like like some of those articles you sent were really like interesting, and I'm actually thinking of have like incorporate an LLC of my own publishing company and just collect all my publishing rights myself.
Oh,
so that I don't have to go through another publisher.
there you go.
Because I'm already self-promoted and I'm already, I'm already doing everything else myself. Why would I pay someone else to do that when I can just like start a company for a few $100, an LLC, and then just collect the publishing rights myself? And that's what all artists want anyway, right? So own their publishing rights. Like, what's his name? Ray Charles in the movie. He was like, I want to own my own publishing. And they're like, nobody does that. He's like, but I'm motherfucking Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell everybody, I'm so excited for you. When you told me, can you talk about the Teddy P thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then talk about it. It's so
sure.
cool. You texted me. So Gooch, Gooch is the man.
Shut up. This is the token with Gooch episode. That's why we're just like all lovey-dovey.
Yeah. I'm just like really fucking stoned right now, and
Me too.
You talk so much, and I usually talk a lot when I'm stoned, but like it's just fine. I like listening.
Am I talking? Am I talking too much?
No, you just talk a lot in general. Like even if I call you on a different day, not or behind a microphone, you just talk a lot.
I got
which
a
is
lot.
Fine. You got a lot to say, Gooch.
A lot to say, and I feel like I almost died a couple times. So maybe
I'm here for you guys to tell those stories. I have like little stories, and then I want to hear other people's stories.
Yeah. I appreciate that. So what was the story that I was going to tell?
The Teddy P one.
Oh, Teddy P story. Okay, so I'll try and make this condensed, but still good. So for those of you who don't know, Teddy Pendergrass is like a 5-time platinum Grammy award-winning soul singer. For those who grew up in the day, they would know him right alongside Marvin Gaye and Otis Redding and all those greats. You'd hear his music played on the same radio stations, Barry White. All it does a lot of those like love ballads and things like that. And he was an amazing singer. And then he was paralyzed in a car accident, much like myself. And he came back from it. I just got done watching a documentary on him, and it was really inspiring. And I had met his widow because he's passed away. He's since passed away. I think it was in the mid 2000s or something like that. He passed away. But his wife, his widow, Joan, started a foundation, the Teddy and Joan Pendergrass Foundation. And so I'd met them a couple times at a dinner for a hospital that we both attended called McGee. And I would be singing there at this like big fundraising dinner they had. And his wife loved my voice and would always like come up and talk to me and love my slide and stuff. And so I just got a message the other day that they're having a 70th birthday gala in Philly, like at the Hilton in Philly. It's going to be a big blowout. They're going to get all like his old band members back together. And they want me to sing a Teddy P song, which is kind of crazy because I can sing. I can sing, but like sing like Teddy P, that's a totally different.
Are you practicing?
Animal. Yeah, I'm practicing. I'm not like he's got so many slow, like amazing love ballads, and I was like, I don't know if I could pull this off.
Which one are you gonna do?
Then I found this funky song. It's called "Get Up, Get Down, Get Funky, Get Loose." And that's just like that's the groove. It's real fast. It's like, get up, get down, get funky, get loose.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, they're not gonna expect that from white boy in the wheelchair.
That's great. Yeah, Gooch is the man. He's going to be doing Teddy P at this gala.
2020, March 2020.
Yep. So you have plenty of time to practice, but it's very cool how you guys have the same little comeback story. That's got to feel very like trippy in a way and cool, full circle and.
I was weeping. It was crazy. I watched his documentary like just a couple nights before I got the message, and his doctors were able to come up with this belt system that they put around his belly and his back because his muscles were paralyzed, and he would like push his arms out to tighten it, and it would give him some extra like oomph to push out the notes.
Whoa.
And so it's just funny because I have a little contraption that my grandpa made that he puts on the arm of my wheelchair that helps me to play wah, like a wah pedal, because I can't play with my feet. I use my elbow.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's cool.
yeah, so it just kind of made me think like, wow, man, just the innovation and the will to not give up, and his story and his documentary. It's on Showtime. It's very powerful, and it was narrated by like Questlove.
Oh my God. I have to watch this. I don't have
Yeah.
I only have Netflix. I don't have cable or anything.
Well, I'll see if I can find it. There might be parts of it on YouTube or something like
Yeah,
that, or
I'll have to check that out. That sounds dope.
I might be able to get you a copy on a DVD. You guys remember DVDs?
Yeah, I do. I'm still in the VHS age.
Heard that. We were. I was talking to somebody the other day and just saying how I'm so glad that I grew up in the 90s and grew up before, like I didn't have an iPhone when I was in high school.
Yeah, me neither. It was
You
cool
know,
seeing both worlds when you were old enough to understand the struggle and then
right.
see it kind of develop and just see the ease. But then still look at kids today who are on phones as babies and you're like, that's just wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just kind of freaks me out.
I just I can't imagine the trouble I would have gotten into if I had a phone in school.
Yeah.
I would have been I just would have been wilding. I've just been playing in little wilding episodes with all kinds of people. I've been plotting and scheming, you know what I mean? I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
So what are your plans for the fall? Because it's almost fall, everybody loves fall, you know what I mean? And do you have any plans for the podcast or anything? I know we're gonna get the other podcast going too, right? Because I'm interested in hearing more of those stories, the adventures of Brandi. You used to get pretty in depth and pretty wild with some of those stories.
Yeah, so you mean, oh yeah, my full production podcast. Yeah, I am going to do it. So I've said it not over a microphone, so now I feel a little bit more accountable if I say it over a microphone.
I'm holding you accountable as your number one fan. I'm holding you accountable. No, you don't have to say if you don't want to.
I'm not. No, I'm good. My goal is to release, between October 31st and the end of November. I really wanted to come back around Halloween because I love Halloween and creepy stuff, and I feel around Halloween you can get away with more. So it'll be.
You're funny. Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure.
Yeah, so I got a lot of work to do. I only have a month and so.
Well,
2 months, I guess. But what?
The other thing I wanted to bring up while we were talking on here was how much I'm high, so I'm spilling love right
high
now.
High times of Gooch right now.
Yeah, so I'm just spilling.
Brandi is going to hell.
I'm just spilling love, but I love that you love rock music.
Aww.
You know what I mean? You're a rocker, and that is fucking awesome. That, you go see Kiss and you go see bands that are not as well known in small little clubs, but they're rocking out. You know what I mean? There's only 50 people in there, but you're showing them love and posting their stuff. And, you go see The Darkness, and that's your shit. That's your favorite band. Mm-hmm. And, you know what I mean? Give it up for the rock and roll chicks. Where are they at these days?
Yeah, there's some there.
Are they still out there?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny because I don't know if you saw what I posted on Instagram the other day, but some kid messaged me and said, "Hey, can I get a copy of Coming Home? My grandma wants a copy for herself, or I want something about getting for his grandma. My grandma really wants a copy." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is the funniest fucking message I've ever gotten." Hey, can I buy it? And he even named the album Coming Home. Can I buy a copy of Coming Home? My grandma really wants one. Or it was this for my grandma, and I was like, wow. My demographic is definitely women in their 50s and 60s and 70s. Man, they love it.
That's so cute.
It is. They do. They
I
love
think
it.
I have a kind of genuinely draw a weird target audience too. Although I'm not sure sometimes because I get feedback from people I never thought I would have gotten feedback from. So it's like pretty interesting, but I don't know. I'm still trying to guess it. It's like the Gooch is out there, and no, I'm just kidding. It's probably. I don't know. It would depend on the question that you're asking, the retention rate or who just clicks on play because I'm half naked in my podcast logo.
Yeah,
but,
right. Yeah, that helps. I'm always laughing because I'm not gonna put this artist on blast, but I know an artist, right?
Yeah.
And who I met, and she's a very, very talented singer. Like, so I can't knock her for like say that she's not talented. But she so uses her tits to sell her Instagram influence, and but in a weird way advocates almost like in a way that acts like she's counter to that. It's just funny to me how, you know, you can use that to your advantage, and you damn well should, because whatever. Hey, Lord knows I'll use my wheelchair to my advantage if I can. If somebody fucking opens a door for me because they're like, hey, you know, like this guy's obviously trying hard. He's in a wheelchair. I'll cut him a break. Shit, I'll accept that. You know what I mean? If that whatever gets you along in life, man. Like, but in my opinion, if you're smoking hot and you're good looking and you're not using it to somehow advance your life, you're missing out.
Or make the world a better place.
Yeah, make the world a better place. Exactly.
That's like, I mean, me mumbling behind a microphone isn't going to do that, but you know, in my intro episode, I talked about, you know, how somebody listened or, you know, just read some rant that I wrote on Facebook and like said that it, you know, changed her life. She like left a boyfriend that abused her, and it was all because of like what I wrote in like a Facebook post. And I was like, damn. All right.
Yeah, like, I mean, like,
you know, that's very touching that like something I said did that, and
for sure,
you know, I could maybe introduce somebody to a rock band or have a different political view or something just because they hit play because they saw my boobs.
Yeah, right. Like, you should just get a picture wearing nothing but a MAGA hat.
No, gross. No,
buck naked in a MAGA hat.
No way.
You get all kinds of weirdos then, for sure. There's all kinds, but at the end of the day,
I wouldn't think that low.
I think the people that listen to these podcasts and stuff like that, they like to hear, you know, like we were talking about before about how you can be sometimes a little rigid and you want everything to be a certain way. And I'm just the opposite. I slap a microphone into my phone and I just go and just start talking, and I should probably go a little more in your direction, and you should probably come a little more in my direction, and we should probably meet somewhere in the middle. Yeah. I should probably be a little bit more prepared, but I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes, but like you were saying.
Well, you have a very endearing quality about the way that you like converse over the microphone. I feel like if I converse over the microphone, I just pause too much. I don't know. I just, I don't really know. I'm kind of scatterbrained, and I overthink stuff maybe too much is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes if I'm too high, because obviously I'm pretty much always high when I do a podcast I get my lava lamp on, I get the mood going, you know, and for the most part, when I get rolling, when I'm doing the podcast by myself and I'm just talking, I don't even know I kind of just black out and just roll with whatever's going on.
No, that's cool. I mean, if I'm stoned, I need to talk to somebody.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's like,
but like I can't do that by myself. It's so hard. And
then I'll wake up the next day and it'll say 24 people listen to your podcast, and I'm like, oh my god, what did I say? Like, for real, like I've had that happen. Like, fuck, I was talking about like depression and like anxiety and talking about like drugs and like what kind of shit did I say on that podcast?
I mean, yours comes from the heart, and I think that's like just what people want to hear is like, oh wow, I can relate to that person, or oh wow, that person inspired me, or you know, anything.
Well, I thought it was pretty profound. I didn't even realize I had such a gem of a sentence until you texted it to me like a couple of days later. You said that
Oh, what
I
was that line? My phone's plugged
turn
into the board, so I
it
can't
it
look.
was turn pain into creativity.
Oh yeah, something like that along those lines.
Something about turning pain into creativity or something like that.
Yeah.
And like you texted it to me, and I was like, whoa, I said that.
Yeah.
I sound smart.
You know how I get that feeling is, or the 2 times I did my podcast live in Philly, I get so nervous, like, speaking in front of people. I don't know what it is, like, whether it was a speaking
Really?
class or if I, like, present an idea to a group of people at work. Like, I just get so anxious when I speak in front of people, and I feel like I really can do it better behind a microphone, which is why I podcast. Like, people are like, oh, what, you podcast, you do radio? And I'm like the most awkward person to talk to, like, in person, like, you know, in a big group of people. So I'm high. What was I going? Where was I going with this?
You're just talking. I don't know. I'm just listening. But I feel you. Like,
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, I don't know where you were going with that. But I know what you're saying. I can relate to that, though.
Oh, I remember. So, I was saying, like, when I did my podcast live, I just, like, had this adrenaline rush. So, like, you know,
Right.
we had 45-minute slots. Like, by the end of those 45 minutes, like, I don't remember anything I said, or, like, you know, I only, you know, if it
Yeah.
went well, and then I listened back and I'm like, wow, like, I was really sharp and on point. Like, it was pretty
Yeah,
good.
dude.
And, like,
I
I've
mean,
gotten
when you
compliments about how my live podcasts are, like, by far, like, always my best shows. And I'm like, wow, it's like,
that's because
you
you
know,
get into what they call the flow state.
the flow state.
You ever heard of that?
No.
It's like an actual like terminology. I did a whole meditation on it the other day,
Oh.
and it's about you know, it's just about like when I'm on stage, and they've even shown this with brain scans. They've put like brain scans on musicians while they're playing music with other musicians,
Mhm.
and all parts of their brain are firing at the same time because you're actively listening to the other musicians, trying to figure out what you're playing, and I'm trying to think of the lyrics and sing all at the same time. So I don't have any brain capacity left to worry about pain in my body.
Mm.
It's almost like I'm getting all this dopamine and endorphin rush and having to think about all this stuff that I don't think about the pain. Like Bob Marley says, one good thing about music, when it hits you, feel no pain. Yeah, and there's a lot of truth in that. So I think you get into what they call the flow state, which is like what athletes talk about when they're, you know, when you see Kobe Bryant out there and he's just hitting every shot he takes. It's like comes natural to him, like he knows he's gonna do it before it even happens. It's like there's a whole philosophy out there behind it. You can look it up, and
Yeah.
it's just about almost being to where I try and get to a point where, like, when I play my shows,
It's like
I don't remember the notes I played, you know,
Yeah.
after work. Like, I play a solo, I don't remember what I played, but, like, right after I play it, if it's a good solo, like, you know, I just was in it while it was happening, and I was present in the moment, and I'm not thinking past it or in front of it. I'm just right in it.
Yeah, it's trippy. I like that.
Yeah, right. It's true though. Like, 'cause
but the way you
can
described
live-
that, you know, is how I feel when I do my show live. So,
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
you're in it. You're in the moment. You're not thinking of really what's coming next. You're not thinking of what you just said. You're only present in the moment in a flow state, just like keeping a flow going and like having almost like when you're having a game of ping pong and it's like a good volley back and forth. When you get a good conversation going, that's how it can be. Depends on your guests too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I do very well with guests that I'm super comfortable with and just talk to normally. You know what I mean? I think I
Yeah.
get nervous around, like, strangers. But when I'm behind a microphone, it's great because, like, I can be myself. I'm kind of, like, hidden. Or meeting...
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like what, like, because that's certainly how I feel. I feel that when I'm behind a microphone, and it's funny because like I am kind of introverted, but like when I get behind a microphone, I feel safe. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's
and
so
I don't
many
know why.
there's so many like weird distractions like when you're in person. Like I'm a very self-conscious person and I'm very aware. So like if I'm having a conversation with like a dude I met for the first time and I'm just having a drink by myself at the bar, I got a boyfriend, not interested. Like you
Right.
just feel
I'm
that
I'm
you're just
re-sparking
like,
my joint.
okay, you do that.
I'm re-sparking my joint. Keep going.
All right. So it's just like then they're looking at your boobs or your or not being ambiguous about anything. They're just and you pick up that body language, so then you act different. But like if you're behind a microphone or there's like just no distractions, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like it's
I
like
can't stand drunk people.
because like when you're in those situations, you kind of like pull back, and that could be like
Yeah.
like being in presence of like I love being in presence of people, but I'm also like in person. I'm like I'm not super touchy feely with like everybody, but like I'm more like
Right.
relaxed and like a slob, and you know when I'm
Yeah.
wait
I love
no
hanging out
I mean
with
I
you.
am well wait that came out the wrong way. I'm really stoned right now. Maybe I don't
You.
even know myself. How do I act?
What
Around
is
people I'm comfortable with,
what
I'm
is
really like
oneself? What is
sloppy, right?
oneself? Right?
So
What
like,
is oneself?
yeah, I know.
What
But
are we?
huh?
What are we? We're just a bunch of atoms smashed together, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, floating down the river of life.
Yeah. But
And I
like
mean,
around you and around, my boyfriend or around like my friend Katie or my roommate Kiki, like I'm really like loosey goosey, like sit with my legs open, don't care, like I'll burp in front of you, it doesn't matter.
I
But like
know.
in front of like people I don't know, first impressions can be like everything. Sometimes it depends. I just like to be a little bit more appropriate in front of like strangers. So, but
That's
it's not really
I,
being myself. It's kind,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I've gotten to the point, and I don't know if it's because, um, I've had so many near-death experiences with like
Gooch, you
having.
just do whatever the fuck you want, man. Like
I
you just gotta
really
own every moment.
I really do. Like, I hope you notice. I think you know that about me by now. That like, I literally just do whatever the fuck I want, and I say whatever the
Yeah,
fuck I want. Like,
you're living
and
everybody's dream. No, but
like,
you've had a lot of like crazy things happen in your life, and
yeah,
so like it's a different vibe. And actually, probably I'm gonna do an intro to this show. So I'll give everybody a little background story before, but like, because we're just having a conversation, so right now nobody knows who you are, but I'll give that intro. But
right.
it's you're just a remarkable human being who has
Oh,
gone through
stop.
hell, and you continue to like do what you love, and then you should really just not care about anything. Like you
Yeah,
just
yeah. I
no
mean, yeah,
holding back.
yeah. I can't, and I feel like people, for the most part, respect me and like me for that reason. At least the people that that I want to be around and that I respect, and the people that don't like it are usually people that it's usually something to do with them. And not that I'm perfect or anything like that. Like you don't. You're saying I'm an amazing person, but I'm just trying to, like, at this point, I'm just like, I'm tired of the bullshit. I feel like people like pretend to be grown-ups almost. Like, it's like we all walk, like, like we walk into a store and everyone's like quiet and standing in line, and no one's silly, or like no one's like looking at anyone in the eye or anything like that. Or I don't know, that shit bugs me out. I'm all about like
Yeah.
just like,
I think about that on the train a lot. I
yeah,
talked about that on a couple episodes ago because a person hit on me
right,
on the train.
of course.
Well, but at the end, he said I had a good attitude and he appreciated it, even though I let him down
Yeah.
gently. But
I mean that's flattering. Like, why?
yeah,
I mean, like, you're gorgeous. Like, you're gonna have people hit on you. Like, I have
yeah,
I
but I'm
have
not gonna be
people.
mean to him. I'm just gonna like
Yeah,
play along with
exactly.
it and
Like,
be nice and just
yeah, and be nice. Exactly, be nice. Exactly. It's
accept a
like
compliment.
yeah, it's not like it's not their fault. It's not something bad that they did. And yeah, like you should just embrace that shit. And then, maybe one day you'll meet a millionaire and he'll hit on you and you can run away with him.
I have a boyfriend, Gooch.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm just teasing you. I'm just kidding. Well,
But
maybe,
if he just wants to
maybe
give me
one
$1
day
million because I'm cute, I'll take it and never talk to him again.
maybe I'll meet a guy that has $1 million and wants to date me and take me away. Then how about that?
Yeah, you meet that guy.
I'm totally down for that life. But no, man, that's why I don't know. I just think that's what life's all about. Just being open and honest and being more like true to yourself and doing what you love. And life's too short to really waste time fucking with shit that you don't really care about.
There you go. That's a very interesting perspective that you put it that way.
Yeah.
Because, like, sometimes, because I am in my own, like, weird little bubble. And when anybody ever said life is short, I always just said, what do you mean? Like, life is the longest thing that you can possibly experience.
Feels pretty long to me.
What?
Yeah, it feels pretty long to me. Feel you.
Hearing it from your perspective is, like, super different. Because it's like, life could be short. But, like, it'll still be the longest thing that you've experienced.
You're just this High Times with Gooch episode has got some mind-blowing theories going on.
But I'm not. Do you understand what I'm saying though?
Of course I do.
So,
yeah,
like,
if
somebody only lived till 15, that's still the longest life they'll ever experience, or like be able to.
You're blowing my mind just thinking, like, that's such a simple thought, but at the same time something I've never even thought.
See?
In that way.
This is why we're here. So, like, when someone's like, life's short, you should do this and that. And I'm like, but life is the longest thing that I'll experience, you know, ever. Like,
what's the
universe has been around long, but I've never experienced that length of time. I've only experienced to right now. And this is the longest. So I'm just saying, I always thought of that when people are like, life's short. Yeah. I'm like, well, it's short. Like, no, it's not. It's like the longest thing you'll ever experience.
And then people's brains just explode.
Yeah, they just explode, and I drop the mic and I walk away.
I will say that, having near-death experiences and, like, losing my dad to cancer and things like that.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely have made me want to make sure that I leave more of a legacy with my music and my foundation and just my overall being. Like, hopefully for a long time people are just like, still promoting my message of the motion, which is like just everybody working together and to make the show and make the music happen. And hopefully years from now some young kid discovers one of my albums and is like, yo, there's this dude Gooch and he played slide guitar and he's got these like swampy cool songs, let's cover a couple of them.
Yeah
that would make me super happy.
And you're already like in the imprint. I mean, you have is it a documentary still out on one of those streaming channels? Yeah, so talk about that for a second, because I think that's pretty cool.
On Amazon Prime, you can watch a documentary called The Motion, Gooch's Journey. And you can watch it on Amazon Prime, or you can just watch the trailer for it on YouTube. It's like a little 3-minute version of the full movie, kind of gives you the full idea. We've got music videos on YouTube. We got the website. You can check out my podcast, The Motion Show. It's on Spotify and iTunes and all that different stuff. And yeah, we're on Instagram. We're on all that stuff. So I'm trying to do it all myself. And it's just me by myself doing all of it. So, well, I can't say that because, I do have a lot of friends and a lot of teammates.
Interns.
Yep, I do have my interns, and I have my friend Natalie who just started helping out. She's taking pictures and like doing website stuff, and she helped me design the cover of the new album that'll be coming out probably in like November. I got a brand new record dropping. It's got like 12 songs, all original, brand new. It's gonna be lit.
When are you sending me that link?
Oh, snap. You're right.
I called you out.
You did. I got to send you the Google Drive. I'll send that to you tomorrow. Now you remind me. Send me a text and remind me.
All right.
So I guess we've been talking on this quickie in this High Times, making it a longie.
Oh, are you trying to hang up on me now? I'm kidding.
No, I'm asking you. I didn't know. I didn't know how.
I hear you. You put all the plugs in.
Yeah, I just didn't. Girl, I'll sit here and talk to you all night. I will talk to you all night long. Whatever you want to talk about, you just throw out a subject and we can bat it around.
Yeah, this has been a little long episode, but I got you. That was quite a wonderful high times. That was my first high times in podcast form.
What other questions do you have? What else do you want to know? You can ask me.
You can't put me on the spot, so
you can ask me anything. Oh, I'll start asking you questions. If you want to go that way. If you want to go that route, I can start asking you questions.
We could take a turn each question.
Okay, we'll do rapid fire questions.
It could be rapid fire or in depth. So you ask the question so I can spark some ideas, because my questions come with conversation.
Okay. I'll go first. Okay.
Yep.
I see that, and I've talked to you before about your dad. Your dad's a big music lover, right? And you have a really good relationship with your dad, right? Mm-hmm. And you guys have been to a bunch of concerts together, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. What is the best concert that you've gone to with your dad? And like, can you tell me like a funny story maybe of like you and your dad at a concert?
Sure. That's really
because I think that's really cool, because I go to a lot of concerts with my mom, and like I just think it's cool. I feel like you kind of have like a similar relationship with your dad, and it's neat how music kind of like we have that connection with our parents. Like music is something that a lot of times can connect a parent and a kid. Like you grow up listening to stuff they listen to. It's like they have that direct influence on you.
Yeah.
And I find that interesting. So what's the best concert you guys have seen?
Well, to be honest, we haven't seen that many concerts in my concert going experience together, but I could name all of them probably on two hands. I'll just rattle them off real quick. The Darkness was my first concert, and he was there for that.
Wow.
Yeah. He wouldn't let me go by myself. I was 14.
That's awesome. What a good dad.
Yeah. Yeah. He still reminds me about how much money he lost because he had to take off of work to go pick up the tickets I won. He had to take off of work to take me to the concert. He was just busting my balls. But
that's awesome.
We saw Foreigner.
Didn't you see the Chili Peppers?
Yeah, I took him to the Chili Peppers when I started working.
But anyway, yeah, they're a great band. They're a great band, and I love their music. Like seriously, like they're all great players, and that's a band I want to go see sometimes. So that's cool. You guys went, and
yeah,
then, like you took your dad.
The
to
Red
Chili
Hot
Peppers,
Chili Peppers were great. It was at a
Yeah.
very interesting time in my concert going experience with my dad. So at that concert, I shouldn't have had as many wines as I did. My dad was still drinking at the time when we went to that, so he was hammered. But it was actually a really interesting night. My dad got to meet Pierre Robert and was like super stoked because like I brought him backstage. It was like the first time I brought my dad to a work concert, so I wanted to make him like feel cool.
Oh,
so I brought him like backstage to Wells Fargo, and he walked around and was just like looking at all the pipes because he's a plumber, you know, just like.
That's awesome.
So I brought him to that, and yeah, when we sat down, well, first of all, he was mesmerized by the light show because the Red Hot Chili Peppers have a fucking dope light show. Shout out to Scott, who does their lighting, but he was mesmerized by the lights, and then there was this guy who sat next to me and was flirting with me, and my dad got really pissed that he was doing it in front of him, and I was but my dad was also kind of like getting drunk, and he was like, I was ready to punch that guy in the face. I was like, Dad, I'm like 20, I forget how old I was at the time, but like it was just like wow, like you don't even know what happens behind closed doors with the amount of like flirting that happened. Like poor dad first time saw a guy flirt with me.
Right? Yeah, dude, that's fucking funny.
So,
I mean, you probably
that was hilarious.
So that's wow, dad wrath about to come down on the
Dad
drunk.
wrath. Dad wrath is a thing, and like I didn't have to ever experience it till that point because
wherever he is, he has no idea how close he came to being destroyed that day. He was flirting with death.
Yeah. And then I mean, I had a wonderful experience taking my dad to Peter Frampton I took him to Peter Frampton for, I forget when why. I think I got the tickets just because I knew he liked Peter Frampton and wanted to see him. But
Yeah, Frampton's amazing.
So I brought him to Peter Frampton. Oh, I remember this time. So my dad had just, he wasn't drinking at the time. It was like, I think a very sentimental moment because he got to see like a band that he grew up. He said like him and his friends would drink in the woods together to like Peter Frampton on Blast.
Wow.
And like, he was like, you know.
And he sounds, he still sounds like the friggin' record when he plays.
He sounds phenomenal, you know.
He sounds great. Just like, it sounds like you're listening to
so actually, I'm going to plug Peter Frampton for a moment. He's on his finale tour right now. He's going to be playing he's going to be playing MSG September 13th. So you should grab your tickets because it's the last time you're seeing Frampton, man. Like, he has a disease that's like, you know, slowly atrophying his muscles, and he took the high road, and he's like, I won't be able to play anymore. Like, I just won't be able to. So like, I know like by the time this tour's done, you know, I will be able to hang up the rag, hang up the towel because it's going to be done. Like, I won't be able to do it. He timed it. He doesn't want to take away the musical experience just because he wants to keep trugging along, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's also going to preserve.
I think I just made up a word, trugging.
Yeah, trugging along.
But sorry, go on.
I feel you. That's a good word. I think it's a good word.
It's like between trucking and slugging.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we feel where you were going with that for sure. But so much respect. But he's also gonna, preserve himself because touring so hard and like playing all the time and everything. So like preserving his body, I'm sure he'll show up at like little special events here and there and something,
and I'm sure he'll continue writing and things like that.
Yeah, writing and maybe doing studio stuff and like, but just kind of like hanging up the tour shit on a high note, like he doesn't want to be going around and
he doesn't want to go around the world anymore and
mailing it in. You know, that's sad.
But so I brought my dad to see Peter Frampton with Steve Miller Band, and you did something like really awesome in someone's life when you like see them tear up. So it was just like, oh god, that was so cool.
Your dad teared up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. That's funny. Like I have a similar experience. I was playing a festival at Apple Farm. Apple Farm around here.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, there's like a little festival down here in South Jersey called the Apple Farm Festival, and they would always bring in good bands. And one year they had Tedeschi Trucks Band, and my mom and I were standing right next to each other, and we're watching, and Derek Trucks is doing this solo, and I'm just like in it, and all of a sudden my eyes, just tears just start streaming down my face as he's doing this amazing solo. I'm just weeping. Aww. And like I kind of like catch myself like, wow. And then I'm like, I feel like an idiot almost. And like I look around, I look over to my left and look at my mom, and she's got tears just rolling down her face. So I wasn't the only one who was feeling that.
Yeah, it's like a really cool thing. And my dad is like the toughest man in the world. Like,
that's awesome.
He wanted to punch a guy because, he flirted with me at a show. And like, he's just, he's had a dirty job his whole life. He's just like a tough man. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Goes hunting and like, but it was, it was just like cool. And you know what? I've teared up going to shows. You know how many like songs by different bands of like, got me through the shittiest breakups in my life or lowest moments, and then when you like see that live, oh my god, like fuck, I probably cried at a lot of concerts. Not cried like a baby, tears were in my face, man. Like I felt that.
Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, that's what's interesting about music. I think about that a lot when I think about what is the world made of? And I listen to these podcasts and different shows with like Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about like string theory and quantum mechanics and gravity, waves and things like that. And then, in my mind, I relate that directly to music being vibration. And it's like, why does one chord sound happy and then another chord sounds sad? Like, and why does it evoke emotion in you with just sound and vibration? It's like, steel strings and drums, and like, it's mind blowing what music does. And I still don't think we fully understand it, or like understand this, that it's a universal language.
Yeah, and the people making it, who make the words also, because in addition to music, like just the words, man.
Yeah.
For somebody to be able to translate something that you're feeling that you're not able to articulate yourself, is just like, fuck, man. Hit that nail right on the head, and I don't even know you.
Yeah.
That's
They're just
cool.
like, yeah, like a lot of people feel that way about, like, I was just listening to that new Tool album.
Oh my God. I wasn't listening to the words so much. I listened to it super stoned. I gotta go back and like read the words, but like, fuck, that record was great.
Yeah, like I was feeling that mood. I was like, yo, this is my mood right now for sure.
I was like already on board just middle of song 1. I'm like, whoa. Yes.
Yeah. Production quality was very, very high level.
Yeah.
As you would expect, but still, like, it's just the grooves, and like from heavy to like more like ethereal stuff was pretty amazing. And like I listened to it, got stoned, and listened to it with some headphones, and it was just like, holy shit, this is really something special.
I have a question. What mainstream stuff do you like?
What mainstream stuff do I like? Mainstream, let's see. I mean, honestly, like, not really, but I mean, like, if something comes out, like, I'm all about, like, I'm not above listening to like some pop country, or like just like some pop radio, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. Maroon 5, Bruno Mars, Taylor Swift, Cardi B, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if I'm in the right mood, like, a lot of people, like, none of my bandmates would be caught dead listening to that shit. But like, if something is out and it's hot on the radio, like, I still will like get down with some pop music, some Harry Styles, or like some Nick Jonas or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I fuck with those guys. Like, they're talented. They're all really talented. Miley Cyrus, like, they're all really talented people, and I respect the shit out of them. Like, they all, like, even I heard a song today by Post Malone. It was Post Malone, Travis Scott, and Ozzy Osbourne.
I was horrible.
What?
Did you like it?
I just thought it was interesting. I didn't know that I liked it. I just thought it was interesting that it exists. I just think it's interesting that I just think it's interesting that it exists.
It was interesting that it existed, but I don't know.
Like,
I have an unpopular opinion.
Let's put it this way. Yeah. Let's put it this way. I listened to it one time through, and I don't have any plans to go back and listen to it.
I listened to it 2 times through because I was just like, oh my God, what? I just like wanted to make sure that I thought it was bad, and I was like, yeah. It is bad. Like, why? Why is Ozzy auto-tuned? Why?
Yeah, that I don't get, but whatever. I mean, it's like, I'm glad that he did that, to be honest, because like, it's, I don't know. I think that I hate when someone tells me I can't do something. And if Ozzy thought it was cool to hang out with Post Malone and Travis Scott, and that was probably like a big dream of Post Malone's.
No. That's a really cool thing to say, because Post Malone did do a TV show with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? So like, he requested specifically to play with Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, like, a lot of people don't know, but he's like, he plays acoustic guitar and he can really sing really well.
Yeah. So I was like, he will stand to his ground for who he wants and what his dreams are, which I can respect the fuck out of that.
Yeah. Like you said, it's not anything that I'm gonna go back and listen to again, or anything that I thought was like, yo, y'all need to hear this shit. But it was just like, oh, that's interesting that he's doing that. Like, that's how I thought of it, and I didn't think it was.
That's why you're on the show, because you just opened my mind into another.
And I didn't think it was a bad hook, but I did think, why is Ozzy one? He still sounds great. He can still sing. Why would you auto tune him?
Yeah.
But
I guess that's his. artistic. I mean, he's it's just everything's auto-tune.
Yeah, like that. Like that's he crossed over and did a fucking trap song. That's dope to me. Like I won't listen to it again. Like cool, man. Good for you. I hope it goes platinum. Like I know I'm pretty sure I won't ever have music that is on like a level like that. I'm more of like in that Robert Randolph, North Mississippi All Star, like that mid level where that's where I want to be, and playing festivals and stuff like that. I don't know how I'd feel if I ever had a hit on the radio or like what that would be like or how that would even work. It's interesting how that shit just happens. Like Old Town Road, where the hell did that shit come from? The devil?
The devil.
Had to.
What do you mean the devil? Come
on. It's just that song, just the way that song came about, that was the work of the devil.
Why?
I don't know, because I'm high.
Okay.
Is that your favorite song, Brandi?
No.
Old Town Road? Did that offend you?
No, but every song sounds like that pretty much.
I know, it's sad, right? But yeah, so I don't really have a lot of time to listen to pop music, but I'm not above it.
No, I got you. You have a way more open mind than I do, because I'll listen to it and I'm just like, oh god, I don't like it. I don't want to listen to it. Turn it off.
It just depends on what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to listen to something, like when I'm laying in bed listening to headphones, I want to listen to, like, Marty Stewart's Way Out West. like something like that. That's, like, an experience and it's just awesome and great production and real musicians. But
do you use Spotify?
No.
Oh, what do you use?
I just have iTunes.
Apple Music?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I listened to this playlist with my roommate, Kiki, called Reverbation Radio, and it's like, oh my god, it is like 137 hours of, no, not 137 hours. I don't even know how many hours of just like music from now back to like the 60s, Spanish, French, trippy, shoegaze, anything that you could think of, like, in this one playlist, and it's just, like, shit you've never heard of, or people's, B-sides, and it's just, oh my god, this is so good. I've been, like, getting into that, because I've been discovering a lot of older music that I never would have discovered otherwise, or even newer music where I was like, wow, I didn't know this band had that vibe. That's cool. Like, maybe I'll give them a try.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Like, there's so many good bands out there like that. I heard a band the other day. I can't remember their name, but my buddy played them for me. They're like a bunch of white guys from New York, and they do reggae. And it sounded like some of the best reggae I've ever heard in my life. I was like, what? I guess the lead singer passed away recently, though. So I forget the name.
You don't know the name? You're like, oh god, I have to look it up.
Does the Lost Souls sound familiar?
I don't know.
Might have been the Lost Souls.
Okay.
I might have made that up too. I might have lost my soul and just made that up.
It's all good. Did I answer your question? Not.
You answered my question. You didn't ask me a question, but you thoroughly answered my question about going to concerts with your father.
Yeah, and then got on to a complete tangent. Good stuff. Good stuff.
You thought I was going to ask you something like really dark, didn't you?
I don't know. I'll take any question. It doesn't matter. Happy or sad or like well thought or silly. I like anything. I just think people don't ask enough questions. I just remember, like, every single relationship I've ever had, like, especially more so with my current boyfriend, I just ask, like, when we first met, like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite animal? Like, just,
do you have the memory to retain all that?
Some of it. I'm a really bad listener, but I'm a good listener, but, like, I think I'm just too distracted by the world around me. But I've been better with going back to being a good listener. I've been trying to, like, balance that a little bit better. But
yeah, it's important.
But I do retain a lot more than I used to.
I don't retain much at all. Like, ever since I was in my accident, I hit my head.
I don't know.
I've had short-term memory loss, like, ever since then. And plus I smoke, so it doesn't help, probably.
Wow.
And so it's just weird, the things that I do remember. And a lot of things.
Do you ever feel like you have deja vu?
Oh, yeah, all the time. So like almost every day I have deja vu because I work from home. So a lot of the days start to run together.
Oh yeah, I got you.
And in a way, I feel like we've had this conversation before in another life or another parallel universe or something.
Oh god.
Oh no, I watched this thing the other day. This kid was talking about he thinks that in 2008 that CERN collided these two electrons together and completely knocked our universe into a parallel universe, and that we've been there ever since.
Since when?
2008.
Why?
I don't know why. That's when they did it, and that's what he thinks, and he's a real smart kid.
Is it like real science behind it?
He seemed to think so. He drew it on a napkin, but I believe him.
All right.
I believe
That's
him.
more fun to believe it anyway.
I mean, if you don't believe me, look up world's smartest kid predicts CERN parallel universe 2008.
Okay.
Like just like search any of those terms. I forget the kid's name, but yeah, it was fucking with my head. I was like, yo, this seems
Accurate.
like eerily accurate because it feels like we're on like a weird track right now. And even just like how I watched that Teddy P documentary and then they contacted me like a day or two later.
Yeah.
That's insane. What's happening? And then like the Jam the Van people were like, come to Nashville. Then I got another gig. And then like all these people like I talked to were going down there at the same time.
Wow. Yeah, I can't say that I've had anything like that happening. I've probably had more terrible things happen between 2008 now. Although I've had great things though too. I don't know. I think things comes in threes. That's my
Threes?
Yeah, like 3 good things, 3 bad things. I don't know.
You might be
What it
right.
always seems like.
Huh. So, all right. Well, now you can ask me a question. Did you have your question ready?
No, I don't.
See, this is you need to get your shit right. You need to sharpen your skills.
Hey, that's not nice.
Ask your question.
I don't have
Ready?
one.
Well, you can't think of one on the fly? You don't have any questions for me? That's how we're going to end the podcast.
Gooch, I can't think of anything right now.
Okay.
I think I'm tired.
All right. If you're tired, we don't have to do anything. If you're tired, we don't have to do anything. I feel like an old married couple right now. This is totally disappointing.
I know. If you were to ask my boyfriend, like, he probably gets the same response. I'll just be like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm tired.
Oh,
he says like I'm a little kid sometimes.
Then you put the sweatpants on and go to bed.
I mean, sometimes I do.
That is so dorky.
It's so disappointing. I know. I used to be young.
Where's the girl? Where's the girl in the pictures in the black lingerie? Where's she at?
She's the same girl that did the old podcast, but now
with her legs up in the air and her high heels.
All right, Gooch. All right.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll be like a granny some days, but I have good balance.
I think so.
Because I ain't like a granny other days. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, life is all about balance for sure.
Yes.
and I want you to keep that balance because you are a bright shining star, Brandi. Keep it up.
Oh, you too, Gooch. Are we gonna actually hang up?
Yeah, I don't know. Do we hang up or do you just stop recording? You tell me.
And there you have it. High Times on Brandi is Going to Hell. That was very long, so if you even got through that, I give you a gold star. Thank you for listening. You can find me on the internet pretty much anywhere at Brandi Lukas. That's Brandi with an I, Lukas with a K. You can stay updated on writings and other shit going on BrandiIsGoingToHell.com.